Hello and welcome back to episode 53 of the first person career mode. Today we are off to Jerez for round 4 of the season. Now just before we get into it, we have some team development for the Moto3 team. We're going to take charity activities, gives more prestige, always good, and I'll take 150,000 off us. So that's pretty much everything we can do. Silver frame development in process, and there's not really much we can do at the moment with the Suzuki itself. We don't have enough an engine and everything else is being developed, so let's get off to the race. So P3 in practice was good enough to get us straight into qualifying to our pace here. Of course, in our favourite track is quite good. Now I do want to apologise for the lack of uploads on this series over the past, I think it's been 2 weeks since I've had an episode of this up, which is quite unusual because this usually is the main video series I have on the channel. So for not to be on the channel for a while is a bit strange, but I had some issues with it. One of them is I got burned out. I got sick of playing in first person, and a lot of you would have seen that I started a new career mode as a Rossi, so you can get the 20 world title. If you haven't, go check it out. It's quite fun because I start last to kind of mimic how his qualifying hasn't been the best over the years, and that he's a great man for Sunday. But that's not why we're here today. I enjoy playing in third person. I made the first episode and I wanted to get up just to see what the feedback was, and the feedback was really good. I got loads of views, lots of likes, people loved it, and I wanted to make more of it. A bit like when I first started this, people loved the idea of it and wanted it, and I ended up just kind of knocking out a few because I really enjoy playing in third person for a while, because a lot of the time it takes to record these and edit these and stuff, you don't get much time to play other than that with work and just having life in general. So a lot of your time is spent playing is recording, which you kind of have to, you can't really enjoy it as much if you're recording, especially in first person for me, because it's incredibly difficult. It was hard on a Moto3 bike. Moto2 was very difficult, and GP is almost impossible. We're coming up to the line. I'm just going to cut myself short. We go half a second under. We actually get our first pole of the season, so we absolutely obliterate the field. But yeah, so I got a bit burned out playing in first person, but yeah, that was pretty main part of that is that I got burned out. Had some weird technical glitches where that I was having some weird tyre issues in practice where I couldn't get tyre wear to work. Never seen it before. And just general game issues where you might have seen that in the previous episodes. I would have had the standard grid, whereas Maverick was with Yamaha, Frankie was on the Petronas, whereas now I've updated it. I've downloaded an update from Biker, and it has Cal in and Jake Dixon. Now it will be updated again soon, so they'll have the current updates. Just everything's a bit behind when it comes to updates because the real world is moving on so much faster. So yeah, but anyway, I'm going to shut up now about everything else. So here we are for the race on pole. What can we do? 5 red lights and we are off. We get a very good initial launch, just moving over touch to the right to cover off Fabio into turn 1. Unfortunately, down into turn 1 we do run it wide, and we actually have to square it off. Fabio just blocks, as you can see there. We get held up, but we actually send it back down the inside, run it very wide in turn 2 in Michelin, but that gets us the lead back. Now this is imperative here that we get the lead, because I reckon Fabio will have a serious pace. So what can we do? It's a 9-lap race. I would love if I could win it. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to. Oh, he comes back at us again. That was caught me off guard. I knew I'd run out of touch wide, but I didn't realise he had that much extra corner speed over me. It's a bit cloudy now today in the race, and one of the biggest issues when it's cloudy, they put this kind of dust and kind of like fingerprint stuff all over my visor. You might be able to see it on screen. I don't know if it'll when it renders and stuff, but when you're riding in first person in this weather condition, they have like this weird. Oh, as Fabio again dives down the inside. We don't have a moment's rest with this man. He keeps diving at us, and we actually cut him back again. Oh, he sticks up his inside, and he's gotten the lead finally. That was a lovely move there from him, in fairness. He just picked me up off the apex. A lovely block pass. Now, it probably is for the best, because as in always in first person. Oh, we got a first track limits warning here, which is incredibly difficult in car to stay on if you're to get a track limits warning. But as always in first person, I struggle when I have to track to myself. I can't get to make the most of it. Whereas if a bike in front of me, I can pretty much nearly always follow and stick with them and do what they can do. So this is probably good for my overall race to have a rabbit at the end of my screen to chase down in Fabio Quartararo. But my pace run here is quite good. I don't know if it's race winning pace though, but I do believe a podium is definitely on today. And I would love to get my first podium for Suzuki here at this track. We got a P4 here last year on the Aprilia, so let's see, can we go at least one better, since that Aprilia was a bit of a dog back then and I wasn't at my best. I'm learning everything as we go on this series in first person. So again, it does a lot of people asking as well, where has the series gone and stuff. Was I finished with it? No, I'm not finished with it. I do plan to see out at least this season, and maybe probably one more, and that probably should get us to the point where I'll have other content. No, obviously I have the Rossi one, so I like to have multiple different series on the channel. I think it keeps it fresh. Playing the same series over and over again and uploading can get a bit stale. Some channels do it, I personally don't. Like, I like to have lots going on, so people, like, I cover for everyone's aspect, because that could have been a crash there. We got out onto the curb. People do like to see different variations of video. A lot of people who like the tips and tricks. I love watching the people talking about how much they like the first person career mode that we're playing today, and then the Rossi career mode has really had a great response. So there will be varied content on the channel. We got our second track limits warning. Fabio's pace is pretty silly. He is disappearing at the end of lap 2 here. We're going to come across the line. This has been a decent lap for me. I'm on for 36. He has done a 36.5, so that's quicker than my qualifying lap. He's on medium, same as me. Even my lap there is pretty much a qualifying lap on fuel too, so that was a brilliant lap. It's funny, it's not funny actually, it's annoying how the AI ride on lap limits throughout the records of the track each race, whereas when they're in qualifying they're about a second off the lap record and they're just nowhere. It makes no sense. I'd much rather than be absolutely breaking the laws of physics in qualifying and then in the race be a little bit slower and a bit more realistic, because it's very annoying. Because if I had Paul here today and I was like, yeah, I'll be really good today, but now look at Fabio's times. Now with him there, I'm able to just about match him. Made a few mistakes in the process of trying to reel him in, but overall the AI just aren't balanced enough. Now Zarco is a 7/10 behind me at the moment. Quartararo takes a few different lines to me, and here we are coming out of the last corner. 36.5 is still a fast lap. We go 0.4 slower than him, so almost identical lap times, so we're pretty much on the pace as of right now with Fabio. Zarco though has picked up his pace. He's dropped into half a second to me, so he looks to be one of the quicker men on track, so we'll have to watch out for him in the remainder of the race. I think late race pace, that Ducati might come at me with their supreme engine electronics and their maps and stuff like that. They will be very strong when the tyres are gone. But Fabio's pace is looking mighty fine. I reckon he's going to be a very hard man to beat. We're doing just enough to stay with him. Again, I'm hot into Pedrosa, but we do square it off nicely. I have a few gripes as well with first person, that when I took a few days off from them, I was glad that I didn't have to play him, because the camera angles, there's a lot of things wrong with the first person that probably are easy fixes really, because they had Ride, I think it was Ride 3, might have been Ride, yeah, Ride 3. The onboard camera in that was the best I've ever seen in the bike game. It was so good, it was brilliant. I could actually ride in it quite easily, whereas in this game it takes so much for me to ride in the helmet cam. We're here now though on lap 6, we're at the half, we have a third of the race left, and we are motoring now. Zarco is the fastest man on track. We're in behind Fabio Quartararo, and we are on a charge. We're looking now to see can we get past him. He runs a touch wide there on exit, doesn't get a great apex, goes slightly defensive through turn 7. We're touch wide though, but again his pace is just so good that we're probably not going to be able to beat this man today. I think P2, as we say that though, we turn it tight. Can we? You can't see him, there he is. touching the curb there, and we've run it deep. How critical will that be for our race? Let's hope not too much. This final sector here, he has so much over me, it is not even funny. I struggle. Now this time, pretty much perfect there on entry. Out to the curb again, just a bit wider through Ferrari. First person, it's very difficult to take fast corners like that. It's a bit of a bitch really, but what can you do? Fabio now has pulled back away from me, so we're coming on now to lap 7, and he has a nice chunk. Sector 1 here again, hard on the brakes is where I make up all my time. I'm going to touch wide in 1. See now into turn 2 here, we will pull back onto the back of him again to Michelin. But then these long corners here, he is brilliant through, and I don't think there's many better than him. He's nearly 0.7 over me, so he is stretching it out a couple laps to go, and I don't look like I have the pace to go with him. The more I push, the more mistakes I'm starting to make. So unfortunately, P2 looks to be my best result, if that, because Zarco is only a quarter of a second behind me. He sits right behind me, so he's going to probably have a go somewhere. Again, look, we take a nice chunk of time out of Zarco and out of Fabio into Pedrosa turn 6. These turn 7 here, they just seem to have so much corner speed compared to me. Can't get near them. But by far the best ride we've had all season in this series. Suzuki finally acting a bit better. Been able to use it a bit nicer in this round now. We have Le Mans next, which will be a tricky track for me. And Mugello then. We had a great race last year on the Aprilia at Mugello. I think we got P5 from memory. So with a possibly better bike, saying that, to look at the front end just not doing anything there for me as we're coming on now to the penultimate lap, and Zarco is there and he's ready to pounce any more mistakes like that, and he will show a wheel into any corner he can get a chance at. So final corner of the penultimate lap, Fabio has checked out proper Lorenzo style performance. He just has stretched me over the last few laps, and I'm about to set my fastest lap of the race, which actually just slightly slower, but the delta was green for some reason. But anyway, it did look like my pace improved back up to what I could do, but it's not good enough to pull him in. We've only a lap to go. We have 3 strikes against our name for track limits, so we have a warning. We need to just bring the bike home now, and hopefully we keep Zarco behind us. We've done well at the opening sector, brought the gap out to 0.7. We're actually on a brilliant lap so far. We're nearly 2 tenths under. We came into Cedar Ponds corner. Just picking the bike out, running it all out to the grass there, and that's completely ruined my run, and I've lost 2 tenths at least to Zarco coming down into Pedrosa, but again hard on the brakes, and I take a bit of time back out of him. But unfortunately that mistake cost us dearly towards Fabio. If we had any chance of maybe having a go in the last sector, it is definitely gone now. So we will need to try and keep it as clean as possible, I said, and we lose another 3 tenths there in that corner as we run very deep into ponds. But it looks like we're going to hold on if we can keep it on the tarmac. Again, we're wide through turn 10. He's right there. He's probably going to have a go in the last corner. We should really pull a bit of time on him in these fast corners. We do pull out about his 10th on him, but he's just there. We're going to brake late. We're going to go touch defensive. We're just going to park it on the inside curb in Lorenzo. And out of the final corner will come. Up through the gears we go. It's going to be our first podium for the Suzuki team. P2 in Jerez. So we finally show what we can do on the Suzuki, getting P2 in Jerez. We just scroll down. Alex Marquez on the last lap set at 35.7. That is Pretty fast lap even for the AI. Our podium puts us up into P4. There's 4 different manufacturers in the top 4 in the championship. That is brilliant for the sport. We're up to P7 in the teams. Always going to struggle on that as a one-man team. And Suzuki still lead the constructors. Now we do get a nice chunk of resource data because we again hit all our objectives today, having a good result. You might as well notice as well, I have a different number. A friend of mine by the name of Rishi made up a number. I absolutely love it. The green and orange really pops. Much better than what I could do myself. But anyway, I hope you have enjoyed today's episode. It's a bit of a wait for this one. I hope it was worth the wait with the podium. So I shall see you in the next one for Le Mans. And I just want to thank you all for 700 subscribers as well. Brilliant milestone for myself on the channel. So yeah, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you all for watching, and I shall see you in the next one.